Want to talk about the salt,
yes.
Matt?
I love salt.
It's time for salt because, we recorded some news videos earlier today. We took a look at the company Slack channel. What did we see? We did see a malding Mythic Raider.
We did.
We sure did. So now we're going to talk about it. Okay. Season 3 ends next month. Greetings, champion. I thought we were Mallwalkers. Champions was last expansion. Get with the program, Blizz. Shadowlands Season 3 is coming to a close, and our experimental Season 4 will begin with the weekly reset of August 2nd. Right, that's the main thing that you basically need to know. So, this overall means that Season 3 will have lasted 4 months.
It's not bad. Pretty short.
So
That's pretty good content cadence, actually.
Yeah.
Hang on, what other game is a 4-month content cadence?
Now, I'm just kind of going through our doc to see, is there any of... Where is the man's salt?
Oh, his salt's probably at the bottom. Oh, is that? Yeah, his super salt is at the bottom.
Okay, good. Well, the good news, everyone, is we're going to earn our salt. Right. Yeah. So, Season 4 then. Well, Season 4 is an experimental season. We always knew it would be shorter. They did say that. Around 3 months? I mean, August, maybe... Well, I suppose if it ends with pre-patch...
Yeah.
Then, well, yeah, it could end with pre-patch, or it could... Nah, continuing through a pre-patch with the class changes would be way too much, like for the doling out of achievements and shit.
Oh, they couldn't. It would end with pre-patch.
Yeah, so there you go, right? It's going to be short. Oh, there we go. Later this year, after the current season has run for a... Never mind. Technically, they were a little bit not true, per this... See, did you see that? Dakor just appeared and dropped a quote in the document in real time.
Yeah, incredible. Oh, yeah, that's a quote from later on.
Oh dear. Oh dear. So yes, suffice to say, the typical duration for a WoW season is not 4 months. And there will be some Mythic Raider salt later on. Yes. But yeah, this does mean that Season 4 is going to be quite short. We always knew that, and I think its gearing and all that shit is just designed to be faster. It has a deterministic gearing system brought into it, and a bunch of things like that. But this is interesting. Mythic Plus has a 12-week affix rotation, so you would assume at least it would be that. 12 weeks after August 2nd would be October 25th. If Dragonflight has a 2-week pre-patch, as most expansions have, then... Could Dragonflight launch November 8th? This apparently lines up with what Scaleface, a reliable leaker, has said in a recent conversation around release dates. Hello?
Yeah, so...
I didn't know this was in the document.
Yep. So there...
Live news!
Absolutely. There is someone who is now called Scaleface. They used to go by a different name on MMO Champion. And for a couple of expansions, as far as I'm aware, this is we go into a little bit later in the doc, so I actually might as well hop over to there now, if it's there, if I find it, or did... Yes, so here we go. Scaleface said, well, the dates can be changed at any time, at least for 31st of December, but in this case, they have not been touched since April, and the DF is still in November, 2nd week and last week for now, and Rathless King for September.
Second week. Oh, so second week pre-patch, last week launch.
Seems to be that way, and Scaleface correctly leaked many things relating to both Legion and Dragonflight, which means they have been around for quite some time.
So that would mean the 2-year cycle has been upheld. Blizzard will successfully have shipped Dragonflight 2 years almost to the day after Shadowlands.
Yes.
And that is precisely what they did with BFA. BFA was 2 years after Legion. So that's quite interesting. Mm-hmm. Some people say, is there even a point to Season 4?
Yes.
Well, I would say yes.
I would say yes, and anyone who says no really needs to examine what they want for the game.
Yes.
That is going to come across as inflammatory because I mean it, because the only people who say, is there a reason for Season 4? Are people who are like, but I like to have the Season 3 and the chill and the relaxation and the we didn't finish our Mythic cutting edge clearing time, and we didn't get that chill re-clear session. Yeah, but while you're doing your re-clear session, everyone else and trying to like push your M+ keys, everyone else in the game's like, where's the fucking content? We're done.
You should have like a little bag of anti-inflammatory pills that you hand out to Mythic Raiders that you come across.
Yeah. I mean, like, I completely understand where they're coming from. I just deeply disagree and think that the game should probably be fast enough for reliable content for other people rather than just you and your long form, slow burn Mythic progress. And I mean, I think that's grand, and I think ultimately there'll be a way to have that separate from time. So it's not, here's the couple of months that most people will progress during.
Ultimates?
Exactly. So there's here's the couple of months progression. We need to have Johnny Casual, who likes to get a couple of items, likes to get mostly normal geared and call it a day in, this period of time. We need to have that take the same length as Mythic Mythic people who need to go through the extra level of gearing and have all the time for re-clears and all the time for mud falling and stuff like that.
14 does that successfully.
Yeah, 14 does that successfully. And the reason
Pretty different though.
And it does it in two ways. And this is what Blizzard need to get kind of down. And this is one answer. Short seasons is a different answer to this, but FF14 does this in two ways. One is horizontal content. So whenever people get their gear and get their clears, they go, fuck it, I'm done. Happy days. Mm-hmm. I can farm out some glam if I want. I can, farm the extremes for mounts, or I can go do whatever the fuck else I want, because this game is horizontal content, because developers understand the need for that. And then the longer term stuff is for people who are taking Savage at a slower pace. And obviously it's not so hard that it actually takes a long time to do anyway, because the difficulty is a little bit tuned down. Then when they go into hyper difficulty, that's the ultimate, which is completely separate from the seasonal cycle. It kind of is for races and people who are trying to do it like as it's super current, but it's the case of like the ultimates will be relevant forever. Mythic won't be. So it's almost like they have two different cycles for difficulty.
Yeah.
And in this case, they're all trying to make it all into the one same box. They could go for the longer seasons and loads of horizontal content. They could do that, and that would work really, really well. And that would mean we could have long seasons, but the seasons are full of stuff to do. Doesn't really super work with a seasonal game, because if the season is the whole point of playing, then you still need to go fast. But in terms of right now, when you have loads of players unsubbing and going, well, I'm fucking done with this, I have nothing to do, then the answer is give them more content to do quickly. And even though it's not new content, it is remixed content, which kind of gives them that push. It is unfortunate for Mythic players who would like that slower burn, but you're not everyone. You're a small portion of the player base, and that's perfectly fine. And there is a world where like you're catered to as well perfectly. But unfortunately, that's not the world right now. That's not the World of Warcraft. I think the choice being made should be benefit to most players.
Yes.
For the many, not the few.
There you go. End it with a good old slogan. His name is now Matthew Corbin.
Yeah, that's exactly the...
Yeah.
That's it.